The December snow fell silently against the windows of Sterling Industries as Margaret Chin straightened her blazer one last time before entering the executive boardroom. Her hands trembled slightly. After 15 years of perfect performance reviews, she was about to face CEO James Morrison for what everyone whispered would be her final day. The company was downsizing, and her department was first on the list. Margaret had raised her daughter Emma alone since her husband passed away 4 years ago. Every medical bill, every school supply, every warm meal depended on this job. She took a deep breath and pushed open the heavy oak door. James Morrison sat at the head of the gleaming conference table surrounded by stern-faced executives in dark suits. At 42, he had built a reputation for being brilliant but cold. Numbers mattered. Sentiment did not. He glanced up as Margaret entered, and his expression remained unreadable. "Please have a seat, Mrs. Chun." Margaret sat down and folded her hands in her lap to keep them from shaking. She thought of Emma waiting at the company daycare center downstairs. Her sweet 6-year-old who still believed the world was fair and that good people were rewarded. What would she tell her daughter tonight? James opened the folder in front of him. "Your position is being eliminated as part of our restructuring. We appreciate your years of service, but..." The boardroom door suddenly swung open. Every head turned as a small figure in a pink dress appeared clutching a worn teddy bear. Emma. Margaret's heart stopped. The little girl's blonde curls bounced as she walked straight toward James Morrison, ignoring the shocked faces around the table. Her blue eyes were wide and determined. "Emma, please." Margaret started to rise, but James held up his hand. The room fell completely silent. Emma stopped right next to the CEO's chair. She looked up at him with the fearless honesty that only children possess. "Please don't fire my mommy." Her small voice carried clearly through the hushed room. James stared down at the child. For a moment his controlled expression flickered. Emma continued talking, and her words tumbled out in a rush. "Mommy works so hard. She comes home tired every night, but she still helps me with homework and reads me stories. She never complains." Margaret felt tears burning behind her eyes. "Emma, sweetie, we need to go." But Emma wasn't finished. She held up her teddy bear. "This is Mr. Buttons. Mommy saved for 3 months to buy him for me when Daddy went to heaven. She always saves money for what I need, but she never buys anything for herself. Her pink dress was from a thrift store, but Emma wore it like it was made of silk. I heard her crying last night when she thought I was asleep. She was worried about Christmas and paying for my medicine." The little girl's voice cracked. "If you fire her, I don't know what we'll do." The executives shifted uncomfortably in their leather chairs. One older man looked away. Another cleared his throat. James Morrison sat very still. His jaw was tight, and something in his eyes had changed. He looked at Emma, then at Margaret, then back at Emma again. The silence stretched until it became almost unbearable. Finally, James spoke, and his voice was quieter than before. "What's your name?" Emma looked up at him. "Emma Rose Chun." "I'm 6.5. James nodded slowly. "Emma Rose Chun, your mother must be very special to have raised such a brave daughter." Emma nodded seriously. "She's the best mommy in the whole world. She never breaks her promises, and she always tells the truth. That's what Daddy told me before he died. He said to take care of each other." James closed the folder on his desk. He stood up, and the executives watched him with confused expressions. "Mrs. Chun, I need to speak with you privately. Please wait in my office. Emma can stay with my assistant, Mrs. Patterson, and she'll get her some hot chocolate." He looked down at Emma. "Is that all right with you?" Emma studied him carefully, as if trying to decide whether to trust this powerful man in the expensive suit. Finally, she nodded. "Okay, but please be nice to my mommy. She works really hard." Something that might have been a smile touched James's lips. "I promise." 20 minutes later, Margaret sat across from James in his private office. The city stretched out below them through floor-to-ceiling windows. James had removed his suit jacket and loosened his tie. He looked different somehow, less like a corporate machine and more like a real person. "Mrs. Chun, I apologize for what happened in that boardroom. Your daughter shouldn't have witnessed that." Margaret wiped her eyes. I'm so sorry, she interrupted. I don't know how she got past the daycare supervisor. James shook his head. Don't apologize. She reminded me of something I've forgotten. He turned to look out at the snowy skyline. My father built this company from nothing. He used to bring me to work when I was Emma's age. I'd sit in boardrooms just like that one drawing pictures while he made decisions. Margaret waited, unsure where this was going. James continued talking, and his voice held a weight of old pain. He always said that a company is only as strong as the people who believe in it, the ones who show up every day and give everything they have. When he got sick 10 years ago, he made me promise to take care of those people. Margaret's breath caught. I've spent the last decade building profits and expanding markets. I convinced myself that was what he meant. But seeing your daughter today reminded me what he really meant. He turned back to face her. You're not being fired, Mrs. Chun. In fact, I'm promoting you to Director of Operations with a 40% salary increase. Margaret stared at him, unable to speak. James kept going. I'm also canceling the entire downsizing plan. We'll find another way to cut costs, starting with executive bonuses, including mine. The money will be redirected to employee health care and child care benefits. He paused. Your daughter was right. People who work hard and never complain while carrying impossible burdens are exactly the people this company should be supporting. Tears ran freely down Margaret's cheeks now. I don't know what to say. Say you'll accept the position. Say you'll help me rebuild this company into something my father would be proud of. Margaret nodded, unable to find words. James smiled, and this time it reached his eyes. Good. Now let's go tell Emma the news. I promised her I'd be nice to her mommy, and I don't break promises to 6-year-olds. That Christmas Eve, Margaret and Emma stood in their small apartment decorating a tree. It wasn't much, but it was theirs, and now it was secure. Emma carefully hung a homemade ornament on a lower branch. Mommy, that man, Mr. Morrison. He wasn't so scary after all. Margaret smiled and pulled her daughter close. No, sweetheart. Sometimes people just need to be reminded what really matters. What matters most, Mommy? Love, Margaret said softly. Taking care of each other. That's what Daddy taught us. Emma hugged her mother tight. I think Mr. Morrison learned that too. Maybe we helped him remember. Margaret thought about the changes at Sterling Industries over the past 2 weeks. James had personally apologized to every employee affected by the initial downsizing plan. He'd instituted new policies supporting working parents. He'd even started eating lunch in the company cafeteria instead of his private office. Maybe they had helped him remember. Sometimes the smallest voices carry the biggest truths. And sometimes it took the fearless honesty of a child to change everything. Outside, the snow continued to fall, blanketing the city in white. Inside, Emma Rose Chun and her mother were safe and warm and together. That was all that mattered.